while I could write code, I couldn't write any level of quality of code, and I wasn't adhering to any standards. They helped me out with that and got me back on track. And after that, I feel like it snowballed really quickly, actually. So I was always a avid gamer, and
Mhm.
I have like 7,000 hours in Dota and like 5,000 hours in a couple of other games. So what I did is I just moved those hours into coding.
Hello, welcome. I'm here with one of our clients, Björn, that has just this week started his first development job, and wants to tell us a little bit about his journey and how all of that went. So, welcome, Björn. Thanks for
Thank
being here.
you.
Yay! So, how are you doing?
Doing good. And
Doing
you?
good, doing doing fine as well. Doing better than 2 weeks before, or worse.
Yes. So yeah. I mean, I started my journey must have been like 5 years ago now, but my journey with Florian was about 3 years ago, I think. Uh
Who
actually
knows?
around this time, I think, actually, right before Christmas, I believe.
Mhm.
And yeah, been a wild ride since.
It's been a wild ride. You have arrived at your destination, which is great. But tell us a little bit about your background, what you have been doing before you started this new job.
Yeah. So I did automatic storage warehouses. So basically, I was in a role where you managed automation and uh, warehouses that fed production lines with different pieces of equipment that they needed to build what they were building. And yeah, that kind of thing. And this kind of job was good, but I kind of peaked in it quite early,
Mhm.
where there wasn't much more to learn. And I decided to widen my horizons, which
Well, that's always a good idea,
yeah,
definitely.
which in my case was I always had a thing for C++, but at some point I decided, C++ is garbage, and I went for C sharp instead because that made more sense
Okay.
to me. Uh, and then I came across Florian at some point and decided to come hang out with those guys for a bit and worked a lot with Michael because even though I was totally writing code that worked, it was absolutely nested and what they call spaghetti-o. So after him flaming me very lovingly for a while, I took that to heart and made a lot of improvements, and that stuff really stuck with me and made it much easier to build much bigger things than I had been doing before, which basically amounted to some shitty WinForm apps and whatnot that were totally broken. But yeah.
So
S-
just
yeah,
to reiterate to that, because of course people don't know you. We've gotten to know each other now.
yeah.
But so basically, during your job, you didn't feel very satisfied, like it didn't lead nowhere. So as a nerd, you decided you do some programming and teaching that yourself, and you got to a specific point
Yeah.
where you could write some code, but let's be honest, not a very good one.
Yeah.
And that was about the time when we met and started working together.
Yeah.
And tell us a little bit about that part of your life.
So well, like Florian initially explained, while I could write code, I couldn't write any level of quality of code, and I wasn't adhering to any standards except for what I basically had in my mind was good standard, which obviously wasn't because it wasn't based on anything but my feelings. Sorry, I'm just gonna turn on the light so we get a bit better lighting here. And yeah, they helped me out with that and got me back on track. And after that, I feel like it snowballed really quickly, actually. And yeah, I kept working through the problems that they were throwing at me, and it helped me a lot with my structure and my thinking, and also like Florian said. So basically, I had a lot of preconceptions that they had
Mm.
to unlearn, kind of. So that was a big part of it for me personally. I think everyone has a different kind of starting point, so that will not be applicable to everyone, of course. But for
Yeah.
me, that was the case.
Yeah, I mean that's not applicable to everyone, but usually people that join us have dabbled, right?
Yeah.
Have started by themselves, and they can get to a certain point. And it reminds me of me as well. When I was young once, many moons ago, I also started programming by myself. I had no outside feedback or what have you. And you develop some kind of way of thinking about things, you develop some concepts, and they might just be wrong.
Yeah.
And then they don't work if they're wrong. And that
No.
will then keep you stuck at a certain level.
Yeah.
And yeah, let's be realistic. Let's be realistic. That's usually not a production grade level.
Yeah.
And this is then also where it is really hard to do it professionally. So either for your own projects or even yeah, working as a software engineer. This is a big problem, and I feel like everybody has a certain degree of that issue. It's a very common issue. Definitely.
Right.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. No, no, no. I was just agreeing with you.
Okay. All right. And I mean, now that of course has led you to build some projects in the past months, and you of course, got better. Obviously, that's the whole point of working with us. And then you've built a few projects of your own before you even started working now as a dev, which is a good thing because if you work on real things, you learn how to build real things.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about the few. I mean, you've done a few things that
Yeah.
are basically all very cool, in my opinion. But yeah, tell us a little bit about the things that you built.
So initially I was kind of lost to what to build, but Florian had a very extensive list with like ideas that he had I don't know, collected over the years. And I picked something off that list and was like, well, that's technically cool and like let's do that. So that was something called the bulk thumbnail creator, which was pre ChatGPT and all that shit, because that's how long ago I started with this shit. But it's basically you feed in a link, it builds squares around faces, avoids those outputs a bunch of still images from different scene selections in the clip, then pastes your selected text onto those stills, avoiding the faces again, and lets you choose which one you like the most. You then proceed to editing that, and it's all in the browser. So kind of a cool. Personally, I think it's way cool.
Yeah,
But
it is. I also think it's way cool. And just to give
yeah,
people a little bit of context, why you specifically built that thing, because it made sense. You had the use case for that, or you have a use case for
yes,
that.
yes, I had a YouTube channel, so that was my interest in that regard. Now with ChatGPT, that kind of became not so useful anymore because you have
Yeah,
all these generative AI image tools that kind of, but that's how life is. And so I moved on to another project, but I spent like a good 2 years on that and I learned a shitload. So it was super
mm,
useful. I learned everything really. That's like my base of knowledge that I got from
mm.
that project. And yeah, so I then moved on to some smaller projects, but I'm not going to talk about them. I will talk about something else that is cool, that is also related to this, which is
And you should, because that's really cool. Let's promote it a little bit because it's a good product.
Yes, streamer social media manager, which is basically you can multi-stream to as many sites as you want for free, straight off a desktop app. It also allows you to post the relevant links to the social medias of your choice. Um, so yeah, that is based on the same technology that was used in bulk thumbnail creator actually. So a lot of cross connections there actually. But yeah, so that was built in a desktop app, which is totally different from what I did on the web end. But again, like it was a lot of the same concepts and they were transferable. So I took what I learned and I just applied it somewhere else and it worked out great. So yeah, and most of this is down to Florian and Michael working with me through the years and giving me a lot of good pointers and shoving me in the right path when I veered off to the left or to the right.
It
Uh,
happens. So then
yeah,
again, you build something. Of course, you gained a lot of knowledge with the first project, and realistically, looking back, it's always a bit shit. You take your learnings to the next project, to the next project.
yeah,
But this thing that you built, yeah, I don't know if you have a proper release yet. There is at least a thing that people can download potentially and use. And
there
yeah, it's of course
is.
a great tool in that sense that it does something for free,
Yes,
which you usually pay for, right?
yes,
And you can multi-stream yourself, which is nice. This is really great. And I'm gonna use it as well for my live streams because I have the same use case.
cool. Looking forward
Yes.
to that and all
I
the bug
shall
reports.
then, yes, I will send bug reports and I shall promote your thing. Yeah, that's really cool. So that you did that thing, but of course, in the long run, you had a different goal, and that was your first software engineering role. Of course, you started applying for jobs. You had something to show for it. Tell us a little bit about that process. And I mean, just tell
Yeah.
us about it.
So, the first thing you should probably know when you do start interviewing and stuff is it's not gonna be like, well, at least not for me. It's not gonna be one interview and, oh, I got a job. Like, that's not how it works. Because just like with software engineering, you need to gather experience in the skill of actually interviewing for shit. And that's a whole science in itself. And like, also how to contact people, how to interact with them in the correct kind of way to alleviate some of the issues that is with like the whole recruiting process. And Florian and Michael and the boys and ladies have some really good points on this stuff that will actually propel you to where you want to go. So yeah. So obviously like the first 5 or 6 or even 10 interviews didn't go great. Some of them went okay, but at the end of the day, like it is a skill in itself. And like even if you're a good developer, you might not interview great. So that's another thing, right? So like my main point of comment here is that don't give up and like keep applying both the knowledge and keep coding because like it's a skill that quickly drains if you don't actually use it. So you need to keep coding, preferably a little bit every day, which is something Florian keeps pointing out over the years. If you stay with it, and yeah, uh,
I mean, that
yeah,
is also a kind of an issue that some people fall into the trap. So, oh, I'm gonna learn, then I'm gonna build, and then I'm gonna interview.
yeah,
And
no,
those you can't do one after the other. You need to keep building, to
yeah,
keep learning, to be on top of it while you interview, even though it's sometimes a little bit frustrating. Um, But again, if you're just completely by yourself, you need to kind of arrange yourself to get to that point where you can do all those things at the same time. And yeah, this requires a little bit of structure and efficiency, obviously. But ladies and gentlemen, the important thing, the last interview that you did, I mean, you did two, right? At that
Yeah.
point, but one of them got your job. So tell us a little bit about that interview and tell us a little bit about your new life that you have
Uh,
test played now for 1 week.
Two actually. This is the second.
2 weeks. Okay,
But
all right.
yeah,
All right. You're a
they
senior now.
they all. Yeah, I'm senior now. 2 weeks done. But yeah, so I had two interviews, like you said, but one for was for one company and one for another, right? And uh, I'm just gonna talk about the second one.
Interesting one.
Yeah. So I had a series of interviews with them, and straight off the rip, I had a technical interview, which went great. Out of the series of interviews I had, that one went great. I vibed with the people, which is really important because, like, you're not gonna have the answer to everything. You might, but it's very unlikely because if they feel like you are answering everything, they're just gonna Google the hardest question in the world. So they're gonna get you no matter what, probably, right? But it was a great experience. Like everyone was very kind to me, and I just vibed with them, and yeah, it just clicked this time, right? And yeah, so I started this software engineering job, and it's so far working out great, and I'm having a lot of fun. It's a lot to learn with just the dynamics of working in a big team and like all the tooling and authorizations and stuff that you need, right? It's a lot of stuff that needs to happen before you actually write your first line of code.
Yeah,
But
that's
it's
sort of.
yeah,
I mean, just to iterate on that, this is also something. I mean, we try to prepare people to that, but it is just the life of a software engineer. Very often involves a lot less coding than they might expect. Uh, there is
yeah,
meetings,
very many meetings, yes, and
which I mean,
discussions,
and
and
discussions.
and yeah, but it's
I
fun.
mean, yeah,
It's fun, and you
it's
get to nerd out all day, which is the best part. Like everyone you're surrounding yourself with, even the non-dev people, are technical people. So they're
yeah.
business analysts and they're like stakeholders and product owners and stuff like that. So they all know their shit. So it's great. It's a great environment for someone who likes intellectual, uh, talky things. So yeah,
Mhm.
it's
How
fun.
does that compare to the previous one?
Well, I some of those stuff. Yeah, so great, great. Let's sum it up as great, great.
Okay,
In
yeah,
comparison, this is great. Yeah,
yeah, that's very nice. So that's cool. So just also to give some context to you were working on your skills first alone, then with us. Um, you had a full-time job at the
yeah,
same time.
yeah.
So how did you kind of manage your time?
Oh man, that's a difficult one because you gotta be like. So I was always a avid gamer, and
Mhm.
I have like 7,000 hours in Dota and like 5,000 hours in a couple of other games. So what I did is I just moved those hours into coding. So for me, it was not super difficult, but obviously doing everything at once. You got work, you might have a personal life, all this stuff, and you got to juggle them, right? But you got to find time to, because if that's what you want to do, you have to find the time to actually sit down for more than 20 minutes. I understand that a lot of people they might be busy, but like you, like at least for me, I don't even get in the zone until like an hour in, and then I'm like
Mhm.
hyper focused, right? So like you need to be prepared for sometimes long sessions if you're trying to solve something or if you're trying to educate yourself on a subject or whatever, right? And yeah, so yeah, even though I understand that maybe people don't have time for it, like if that's your goal, you have to try to make that happen. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and if you take the time, you gotta take time. There is
Yeah.
no
There's
way
no ifs
around
and
that.
buts about it.
Then the important bit is, of course, to do the right stuff at the right time, because otherwise it will take forever. And it
Yeah.
could have taken forever potentially. And I see this so very often. Then people do this by themselves. They get to a certain level, which is not really great.
Yeah.
And they just stay at that level for years and years, and then, of course, never
Yeah.
go to the job because they are just not doing the proper things. If you just keep
Yeah.
continuing doing the same thing over and over again, gonna be very hard. It's that's just
Yeah.
a fact of life. Um,
And I have another point here which I want to
mm,
kind of address, which is ChatGPT. Because I actually kind of did the Florian thing for some people that I knew, but like I tried to help them along,
mhm.
and I realized they were not actually coding; they were just prompting. And the thing is that if you then proceed to ask them any questions of any relevance in anything, they have no clue, and that's a problem. So like it's okay to prompt for code, but you need to understand what it's doing or what it's outputting. Otherwise, you're not learning anything. You're just doing busy work, which is not
Why
great.
did my God damn? Why did my light go off? I,
Yeah,
I,
Germany and their power grid.
it is not like Alexa Licht ein. Oh, oh, yeah, because I programmed the thing that I forgotten
uh,
about. So when my computer monitor over there goes into standby, it switches off the lights because I'm not obviously not here. Forgot about that. Okay. I mean, yeah, the Chat GPT thing, obviously. And I mean, you've met some of your colleagues. Would you say that there is one full-on vibe coder in that office?
uh, there might be a potential one, but he actually has some skill, which is like so. I feel like that's more okay. But
Hmm.
it worries me a little bit when like people might think that that is gonna be like the solution for everything, and it's not,
Mm.
because a lot of times it's contextual. Like I always say the same thing about ChatGPT and all those things. It's like they're good in the scope of making something really small. They're great, but making something of any substance, they're not that good, really.
Mm.
So you need to learn the basics at the very, very least before you even try to do that, because it's just not gonna work,
Mm.
you know. So
And
that's
yeah,
my
that's the
take on
thing.
it.
Yeah, and I would agree on that take because ChatGPT or like LLMs in general,
LLMs, yes.
um, are just will be always at the state of a very dumb intern.
Yeah,
And if you don't feel skilled enough or competent enough to guide a very dumb intern, you can also not work with an LLM to do your job. And as we
yeah,
just said, yeah, the job is also a lot of meetings and decisions and stuff like that. So you gotta do this, and for having that human communication, you need to know what you're talking about, right?
yeah,
And the other thing is, I mean, you've seen the code base now. The reality is often you wouldn't expect that amount of fuckery, but I hear this from everybody that gets a job. The first job, it was the same with me. I was all, yay, first job. I can code stuff. And it was a hot mess of old legacy code, things that just exist and nobody really knows who did that. Nobody can explain it to you. And those are the things, yeah, that you can't really outsource. It's just- It is not like your job as a software engineer, and you after 2 weeks can now attest to that, is not building a web to-do list app in React, right?
No,
This is very, it's
no.
very far from it.
No, I mean, probably for a good period of time, you're just gonna be wrapping your head around what is happening. So, like, you're gonna do a lot of debugging and just trying to
Mm,
navigate around and figure out what does what and how it all fits together and all this kind of thing.
mm,
And like, nobody can prepare you for that. That's just something, but like, you have to have this innate ability or drive to like want to learn and understand stuff. That I feel like that's what makes a great programmer, because like I don't have any like god-given gift of like just understanding everything. Like you have to be, I always say like that the best ability that a developer can have is being stubborn.
mm. Yeah,
Because
that's.
if you give up, you're screwed. But if you just like, no, no, you're not gonna defeat me, you keep at it, you're fine. You're fine. Because sooner or later, even by mistake, you might do the right thing, and then you're good. So it's
What?
yeah, that's how it works.
That is definitely how it works. Okay, so what else can we talk about? I mean, that's also something interesting. You don't have to tell us numbers, but salary-wise, you happy?
I'm happy. Yeah, I'm fine. I'll
Okay.
survive.
All right. So that's also something. It's you did have a job that didn't pay too little, or that was quite okay. And very
Yeah.
often people have, when they have the background, so they have the job and like they're used to it, and the income is good. Always did that fear. So yeah, I want to become a software engineer, but I'm scared of the salary drop that might potentially happen.
Yeah. So about that, like my take on that is if that's what you want to do, you might have to be prepared to like possibly rethink your angle of attack there. Obviously, if you're in a low wage job, that might not be an issue. But
Mm,
if, like me, you were already in a sort of technical field and you were doing technical stuff, even at a low level, you might be getting quite decent pay, right? So you
mm,
have to at least rethink that at some point. I'm not saying you should accept anything, but like don't say no to a potentially good thing because you might be taking a slight hit or whatever, right?
mm.
Then that's my take on it. Obviously, that's not where anyone wants to be, but like realistically, that's how life is, and you're probably over time gonna recoup that. So don't be a crybaby. That's my take on it.
That's the what is it?
There's other perks too.
Wisdom, life
Yeah,
wisdom.
yeah,
I mean, there's other perks, of course, but in your case, it worked out pretty well, and you're
yes,
basically at the same or
yeah,
thing now, right?
yeah. Very, very similar to what I already had. So yeah.
So that's happy days, and now you have this job where you just do, for one, do fun things and have other perks in terms of having, yeah, a nice office, probably better working hours and all that jazz. So that's nice.
Yes. Yes, definitely. It's not like I was never it was never about the money for me really. I just wanted to code.
Yeah.
That's so that was my angle of attack. And yeah, but I think I'm quite lucky. It worked out great for me.
Hmm.
And I'm very grateful for how things worked out, and I'm
Yes.
grateful to Florian and Michael and Corinna and the whole team. Really, great dudes and dudettes, and yeah, if you stick with them, they will stick with you. So you should
Yes.
give them a
We
go.
do not. We do not give up. We do not surrender. And sometimes, some of our clients need a little push. So say, dude, you just continue doing the thing. It works out in the end.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes a little longer. Nobody can, like we had a client that got his first job on his first interview, which is nice,
Yeah.
obviously. But that usually doesn't happen, right?
No, that's an
And
outlier. That's an edge
don't
case.
expect that. Yeah?
Yeah.
And of
Yeah.
course, there are people. I don't know how many interviews you did in the end, yeah. But when you get to a point where you do like 20 interviews or double digits, and you
Yeah.
don't get a job, something might be off, right?
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. I don't actually know how many I did, but I did probably around at least 10 or something ish.
Yeah.
So double digits, but I feel like it's not always the case of you not being picked because you're not a good fit. There's other variables. So yeah, I mean, we're back at like don't give up because like
Yeah.
sometimes you just don't vibe with the people too. Like
Yeah.
because they might
Obviously.
feel like this guy can do it, but no.
I don't want him in the office, right? So
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
worked.
it can be like that, and like you like obviously you might feel it's personal, but like you have to look at it out of their point of view. Yeah,
Okay. I
how
mean,
weird that sounds.
I can definitely attest to that because I have also worked in offices. I have worked with people that I could not stand, and that really just brings the whole operation down or slows it down significantly. I would hire you into our office, yeah. If you would not be living in sweet Sweden, but again, you found people that appreciate you. Not that you're weird and like I'll cut that out, right? But you need to find those people. Of course, they need to like you. That's nice, but you also need to bring the skills because otherwise, you just. I mean, you could work in that office and bring them coffee and refill the printers, but I would assume that's not the goal for most of the people watching here.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah,
Okay, cool.
that's
Yeah,
pretty much it.
so that's pretty much it. Yeah, thank you again. Do you have anything else that you want to tell me, tell the people that might be watching this something, anything really? I mean, we've gone over your whole thing, but if you want to advertise your cool tool again,
Uh,
you can do that.
no.
Yeah.
Uh, let's see here. We touched on most of the important bits, I
Mhm.
think. Um, no, I mean, so as far as like, uh, experience is not free. It's gonna be time investment, money, patience, all that stuff, right? But at the end of the day, if you want to be a programmer or a developer or a software engineer, whatever you want to call it, right? You are gonna have to make some choices. That's how life goes. And don't be afraid to bet it all on black if that's what you want to do, because at the end of the day, sitting in the dark, like you have nobody else to answer to but you. So yeah,
Yeah, I mean that really sums it up. Is you can only win if you play. If you
yeah,
just if you don't do an time, money, emotional investment, even you're gonna
yeah,
just stay where you are. And if you're not happy where you are, that's not a good strategy. Um, so yeah, that's
yeah,
really nicely summed up.
yeah,
And I hope it also inspires people like you watching here. So hey, you've been dabbling, you've been trying, take a step, yeah, take it seriously, potentially join our show, and the things that we do to get that time investment to make it efficient, so you arrive at your goal and you don't give up before that, because that's a sad thing. I've talked to
yeah,
many people that were really close, but they have given up because they were just doing the wrong thing for too long. And if you then start doing the right thing, you'll get where you need to go.
Yeah. Don't feel
Cool.
like you arrived. That's the main takeaway here. Because that's not it's a journey. It really is.
It is. And then
Yeah.
again, yeah, I mean, this is now a new job for you and all that. But once you have 1 or 2 or 3 years of experience, then finding another one, if you don't like it, is much easier. Uh,
Yeah.
but I mean, you might like it. So far, so good. So far, so you like it. Nobody knows what's happening. So again, yeah, thanks for being here. Thanks for doing this interview. I hope it can again motivate some people that are struggling because it isn't easy. Yeah, it isn't easy. Um, things work out in the end if you do the right things and you keep at it. This is the main takeaway here. Thank you, Björn. And if you want to become a software engineer like Björn now is, then check out the link down below to book a free consultation session with one of my team members. It's going to be a quick phone call and it's going to be completely for free. We'll assess your current situation and tell you the exact next steps that you need to take to get you to your first programmer job. So if that's interesting to you, check out the links down below.